Today, Stony will face off against the University of Rhode Island. Take on the semi-final Wednesday and purchase new Stony from their school. Be sure to use single scales and large bags. While you're there, purchase pops from Shop, which will play at the second period. Thank you and enjoy today's game.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you to this presentation of Stony Brook Seawolves hockey from the rinks in Hauppauge, New York on Long Island, as the Seawolves try to get even with the Rhode Island Rams here on this breezy, chilly, muggy Saturday night. Well, maybe not muggy is the right word to describe the atmosphere outside, more so damp than anything. And we'll see if the Seawolves can dampen the Rams' performance here today, as they are motivated to bounce back from last night's defeat, in which Rhode Island took it by a final of 4-2, backed by great goaltending courtesy of Nick Marangola, stopping 32 shots, allowing 2 of them get the best of him. However, his team stepped up tremendously when it mattered most on the power play, going 2 for 4 with goals coming from Cam Sear and Owen Hall. And now we'll meet tonight's starting lineups with the public address announcer Leon Bassett presenting the ceremony before this game gets underway.
Number 2, Tim Crane. Number 4, Charlie Nelson. Number 9, Owen Hall. Number 24, Colin Mazel. Number 28, Max Lockwood. And then goal, number 30, James Hunt. And he is the star for your Stony Brook Seawolves! On defense, number 73, Jackson Haskins. His defensive partner, number 44, Colin Whitebridge. The left winger, number 96, Matthew Anastasio. The center, number 17, Peter Rose. The right winger, number 94, Anthony Bonillo. And in goal, number 29, Steven Regalado. At this time, we ask everyone to rise for the playing of our national anthem.
The 2 teams will return to their benches as the final touches of the opening ceremony have been presented, with now the 2 netminders entering their respective houses, and a change in scenery and goal for the Rhode Island Rams as James Hunt takes his place in the crease. All the way at the other end, it's Steven Regalado coming in with a record of 8-7, aiming to bounce back and rectify the loss that he took at the hands of the Rhode Island Rams last evening. It's worth noting the Stony Brook Seawolves They are powered with heavy artillery. 3 big offensive weapons, averaging a point per game heading into this weekend matchup against the Rams. Those 3 names: Justin Nakagawa, Paul DeZaro, and William Cormanick, as this matchup is underway from the rinks. Tim Crane starting on the back end with his defensive mate, Colin Bizel. Bizel had some flashy moments last night, although did not go home with a point under his belt. Maybe tonight things might change for the better of him. However, it's the Seawolves who will definitely have other plans in mind as they try to hit the gas early on and make a quick statement from the get-go. Right now, both teams firing on all cylinders. The engine for these 2 squads is all tuned up to the fullest, as Cormanick finds his man DeZaro. Christian Malik tries to shake off his opponent, as DeZaro's chance denied by Hunt as he got the shoulder up to stop that one. Paul DeZaro looking for his team-leading 17th goal of the season. He sits behind William Cormanick in the total of points for the Seawolves this season, with 28, as Cormanick accumulated his number last night with the power play goal. And he stands with 30 points in 19 games played this season. Kyle Nastepny almost had an amazing goal last night, and now we get some wrestling in front of the net. You just know these 2 teams were coming into this matchup armed and ready for a heavyweight battle. Like in most cases with the Seawolves and their opponents, the first of the 2 matchups is usually a feeling out phase to kind of get an idea of, all right, what is the right approach to take? How do we play in our system so we don't get exposed, and so that we can get a potential victory? And that speaks for both teams. And yesterday, Rhode Island winning that battle, evidently, and here tonight, we're seeing a different side of both of these squads from their early moments here in the first, as the aggression is set right away. The aggressive tone set right away as Tim Crane battles back to try to stop the Seawolves from making any sort of impact here on this first power play. Or I should say, pardon me, it's 4-on-4. A different sight than what we saw last night, in which the Rams went to the power play first, and there was not one instance of 4-on-4 hockey at any point last night. A very peculiar occurrence. And so this matchup starts in an awfully different way, and we'll see how both of these teams come out once the 4-on-4 comes to a conclusion. Right now, the Seawolves putting the pressure on the Rams as Mara controls along the wall. Here's Cooper Smith, back in the lineup after missing in action last night. Mara Tried to feed it across, but fanned on the pass there. Seawolves still with life as they work the zone. A lot of real estate for Smith. And that chance fended off the stick of Hunt. 10 more seconds of 4-on-4 hockey. Centering feed wouldn't go there. Cleared away by the Rams as Nate LeGret and Thompson of Rhode Island return to their benches. We are back to 5-on-5 hockey as Colin Wenrick works back in with a turnaround try. And the save made by Hunt. Now LeGret with a head full of steam, anger in his eyes as he is looking to make any type of physical impact here in the first as we get a whistle blown, hand pass, offsides. So I presumed it was a hand pass, but that would not be the case as the face-off draw will once again reside in Rhode Island zone. Here's Stony Brook coming in with another opportunity here to maybe get some shots on net. Here's Poirier at the top, throws it in front through all of that traffic there. Hunt was able to fight it off. Vernillo shielding against two Rams, throws it across the goal. And now Anastasio, who made his big debut last night, steps onto the ice for his first shift this evening. And no icing will be touched here as Poirier grabs it from Regginato. And he skates up through the neutral zone ever so quickly with Vernillo in tow. Anthony Vernillo trying to steal it from Bizel as the Rams attempt to escape the zone without any further damage. Thompson angles it forward, hits off the stick of one Darlington. He meets up with his man at the boards. Darlington still in pursuit of it as Anastasio plays it back to Poirier. Poirier settling things down, but directing traffic from afar. Here's Vernillo. Vernillo knifes it forward, and that's going to allow Stony Brook to get new reinforcements on the ice. A line change ensuing for the team in white. As the Seawolves wearing their traditional white jerseys with the red striping as they look to pick up a huge goal here and by any means necessary to beat the Rams to the punch here in the first. Cormanek takes his man down. Great pressure being instilled by him against Rhode Island. Rhode Island trying to respond as Kowalski keeps it at the top. Couldn't feather it down low in time, but he gets another stab at it before it's stolen away by the Rams and further cleared out. But not fully through the neutral zone, and it leads to a 2-on-1 chance. Toe drag maneuver stopped in front. Hunt denying Paul Tizarro there. Another opportunity and another save made in the glove hand of Hunt. Stony Brook's best chances of the night taking place right there. As what could have been a strong clear for the Rams to get some of their tired players off the ice. Valenti standing in at the right place at the right time to prevent it from going further past the neutral zone, and then finding Cormanek, who nearly set up Tizarro for what would have been a beautiful goal, as now Regginato will hold up with the face-off draw imminently coming in the Stony Brook Seawolves territory. And now a chance for Rhode Island to make their pressure felt against the Seawolves. Or their presence felt against the Seawolves. Owen Hall and Charlie Nelson will try to make as much noise as possible as Haskins controls it. Seawolves looking to break out here as it's twisted on by Nakagawa to Wenrick. Wenrick flies it in for Nakagawa. He's shoved off the possession there. Wenrick rushes over to keep it in the zone. He sends it across to Haskins. Haskins was able to find his man as Wenrick gets it back. Throws it on target, and another save made through traffic by Hunt. Bizel angles it out of the zone, couldn't reach the stick of Nelson, and the Seawolves will try to counteract the other way. Dominic Idevai tosses it forward. And here comes the streaking Barlow, who picked up a goal last night in the Rams' 4-2 victory over Stony Brook. Turnaround try, blocked in front. Couldn't tell who got the initial shot off as Rhode Island continues to put pressure on the Seawolves. However, Stony Brook responding the other way, and here comes the heavy force of Legret and DiNapoli. And bam! Nate Legret delivering the early boom. And here is Bonfiglio after the possession as he goes battling against Poirier. This one going to be knifed in the zone. And the Rams will get another stab at it as it's played further in by Rhode Island's Barlow. Here is the Stepney. Able to connect with Vernillo. Vernillo avoids disaster there as Gilligan tried to line him up for a massive check. This one couldn't be cleared out. Darlington has trouble with it, able to find it, but the Rams, with their backs literally against the wall, had to clear it out. And it gives Valenti chase, who has to collect from all the way from his end. We have only gone through just the epilogue of this first period. There's been plenty of noise so far, and there's another save that is registered, that should be registered by Hunt there as they hit off his glove. Another chance, hit off a stick in front. Another opportunity squandered by the Rams as Stony Brook continues to barrel down against this Rhode Island defense. Now the Rams forechecking, trying to come to life, but Labos with the back checking, doing his part at mitigating Rhode Island's offensive presence. Here's Mulhern. Was able to evade one as it gets tossed in front before Reganado swallows it up to stop play. About 10 minutes into the first period. Stony Brook registering 6 shots on goal to Rhode Island's 3. We await for one of these teams to score first. However, it's a lot of hard checking and good goaltending. That's stealing the spotlight for the time being as icing called here. Was gonna say, perhaps had that not reached the M-boards fully, it would have definitely caught Haskins and Wenrick off guard, having to play from their back end, but that is not the case as we get another face-off draw coming up to the right of Hunt as that chance skips off a stick there, giving DeZaro chase. Cooper Smith trying to put pressure against the Rams as DeZaro flies all over the ice trying to get a hold of the possession. No icing here as Haskins has to race back, played it dangerously in front. Luckily, Smith was there to receive it, and now it's William Cormanick journeying back into the zone, finding Smith. Smith couldn't do much there. The Rams providing pressure against him, and there's Lockwood's try missing. Rebound off the boards, hit the outside of the cage as Poirier tries to escape without further damage. Some great scoring chances coming from both ends. And another minute goes by here in the first with neither team finding the back of the net. Lorenzo Mara taking aim. Mara couldn't stuff it home there. As the Rams able to survive, and Hunt remaining calm, cool, and collected in his house. Another icing call this time, bringing the face-off draw back into Stony Brook zone, which will keep some of their current players on the ice in a precarious position, as Rhode Island came in with some very intense opportunities in the last sequence. And we'll see what they bring to the table here. Almost couldn't keep it in the zone. Rhode Island providing more pressure against the Seawolves. That's if you don't have Lorenzo Mara on the ice, as he continues to motor around the zone before he's put to a stop there. And now the Rams entering the zone, but not without noise coming from Teddy Valenti, who nearly finished off Gaudioso, which would have been a blistering check as Robert Hyde put pressure on. And now Stony Brook trying to regather the momentum, as Rhode Island has been playing some pressurized hockey here. Nestepny flinging that one over. Legret keeping it in the zone with the toss back down low. It's cleared away, but not past the blue line for Valenti and the Seawolves to regroup. DiNapoli tried to shift over cleanly, but he lost it to the Rams. And Rhode Island with another opportunity to break through the neutral zone. Currently having difficulty getting past the Seawolves' offensive, very aggressive forechecking unit. Here's Wenrick, dazzling with the moves of the shot going out of play and further stopping the activities on the ice. A very good crowd on hands here. And believe it or not, it appears there is more fans on the Rhode Island side than there are Stony Brook. But it also could be my perception of it based on the proximity of where my location is to the Rhode Island side versus the Stony Brook side. Haskins and Anastasio. And here come the Rams. Back on their horse, trying to make something happen here. More pressure being instilled by Rhode Island's heavy forechecking unit. We got a delay penalty coming up. Stony Brook, once they touch it, will go to the penalty, or no. For a second I thought there was a penalty kill. I'm just seeing things all around. It is definitely a crazy crowd, and you have to wonder if that is going to play a vital role here tonight. Cormatic, Vernillo, and that chance was fanned on. May have gotten blocked in front, and by the sound of applause from above here, it may have been the case, as that chance missing off the stick of Nelson. And Stony Brook right back on the possession. Poirier with some dazzling moves, entering the zone, driving hard to the goal, but couldn't stuff it home. The pad stop was made that time by Hunt. Rebound, short side, Cormanic's opportunity denied. Nelson able to guide it out of the zone with that toss. Lockwood throws the check against Anastasio. Wiesel chips it forward. Gaudioso aims wide on that shot. And another wild dump off the boards keeps Rhode Island in the zone. Stony Brook trying to send the message the other way. 4.5 remaining here in the opening period. Hyde on the Hunt as Hunt plays it around the wall. Valenti with a shot going nowhere towards the net. However, Stony Brook keeping the possession alive for now. Kowalski controlling. Nakagawa. Not much real estate on the ice. However, Stony Brook doing everything in their power to make the impossible possible. A big keep at the top by Valenti. And a cross-checking penalty coming up against Rhode Island. Shot, Valenti denied. It'll be touched up by Bonfiglio. And I have to make a correction on the actual call. It was checking from behind. Boarding to Dominic Idavai as he'll sit for 2 minutes. And the Stony Brook Seawolves will activate the power play unit for the first time tonight. They were 1 for 3 on the Stony Brook Orthopedic Associates power play last night. And we'll see how they do here right now in this first get-go. Mara fans on the shot as he tried to come in point-blank range. And speaking of real estate, the Seawolves have a lot of it with this 5-on-4 opportunity. Nakagawa flung it wide of the net. And he gets another chance at it. Mara receiving the feed, playing it off the boards. DeZaro shakes by Sear, throws in front, and the second opportunity was denied somehow. James Hunt, give yourself a round of applause for that effort. As William Cormanic in tight, literally standing at the front door of Hunt, couldn't jam it home. Great work being done by Crane to kill off some time here. And it'll be further canceled away by Bizel before Lockwood handles business on his own. Coming in with a chance denied. Rebound spinning opportunity wouldn't go for Hall, but Rhode Island, they'll take whatever they can to eliminate as much time as possible on this Stony Brook Orthopedic Associates power play opportunity for the Seawolves. Vernillo escaping away from traffic there as Wenrick sets it back up. Cormanic, Wenrick slides it across. Nakagawa touches it over. Now it's controlled by Hyde. Hyde finding Nakagawa. Vernillo shifting over to a new location. Cormanic couldn't stuff it home down low, and a heavy check is thrown. Big keep at the top by Wenrick. Nakagawa, Hyde's opportunity squandered and further canceled out by the Rams. A successful penalty kill for Rhode Island as they shut down the Seawolves' first power play opportunity this evening. Players careening all over the ice at center. Stony Brook. What can they do to regroup after not able to capitalize on the man advantage? This is a dangerous advantage, a very dangerous advantage to Rhode Island. Hoping to feed off the momentum of the penalty kill. That was a success as we reach the final 50 seconds here in the first. Still no score. And here come the Rams, working in, toe drag, shot missed wide. A great effort that time. Second opportunity in front. On the doorstep, Gonioso missed. Half a minute to go as the Seawolves tried to escape without further damage. Bizel backpedaling as he looks for an intended option. An intended target found his option up ahead. Time running out here. Bizell sauces it across off the boards. It'll be played by Cooper Smith, and Valente will just let the clock expire. Let all the time left on the clock expire as both teams leave the ice with neither reaching the back of the net, as the Seawolves and Rams will head to the second period tied scoreless at 0. You're watching Stony Brook Seawolves hockey right here on LI Sports Network. Stay tuned after this intermission break.
At Stony Brook Medicine, our gastroenterologists perform a groundbreaking procedure that restores the ability to eat, so Kevin can enjoy dining out again. Our kidney transplant team has one of the fastest transplant rates in the nation, so Pat can spend time doing what she loves. Our skilled surgeons perform robotic-assisted surgery for colon cancer, so Chris can get back to reeling them in sooner. Leading the way to make your life stronger, we are Stony Brook Medicine. All we do is all for you.
And we welcome you back, ladies and gentlemen. Second period just upon us here at the rinks as we await for our first goal scorer of the evening. But until that happens, we'll see more of the physical elements of this contest and the great goaltending which has been provided by both Steven Reginato and James Hunt, as they continue to do whatever they can to perform to their best abilities and hopefully get their team to feed off that energy and maybe score a goal. Shane Mulhern, the captain, going for a skate, picked up an assist last night. He tries to make any sort of impact here in this second period of play. Peter Labos on the draw against Corey Zabo as the second period has begun here. Reginato plays it to the near wall as Stony Brook tries to escape the zone. Labos hounded there by Cam Sear. Sear, who has made an awfully considerable amount of noise these last few games for the Rams. Riding on a multi-point streak entering this weekend against Stony Brook. Stepney tried to get a launch off in the neutral zone. Instead, the possession continues to be bounced around amongst the Seawolves and Rams. Now Stony Brook try to find a way to grab it and escape ahead. Instead, it's Rhode Island putting them back in their zone where Wenrick will handle business. Legret tried to kick it free and push out. DiNapoli giving chase as Thompson plays it aside. A dangerous occurrence, though, as the Rams couldn't clear the zone. Now Stepney tries to guide it under his stick. He takes a man down. That was Nelson. Play continues as the Seawolves grab new reinforcements. 2 minutes gone by. Here in the second period as Stony Brook, with the engine all tuned up once again, trying to make a statement here as we get a face-off draw coming back in Rhode Island's zone due to an icing. And the Rams will be in a precarious position here as you saw Charlie Nelson all activated in this shift. He is definitely worn out and could use the time off the ice here. As Malik tried to get it to the stick of Cormatic to no avail, and Cormatic hunts away against the Rams. Here's DeZaro trying to find his groove. He had no goals coming into this matchup after coming close a few times last night. Now we get a penalty coming up here, and this potentially may go, and it will, against Stony Brook for roughing, as Christian Malik showing his dismay to one of the judges here on the ice, as Malik will sit for 2 minutes. Rhode Island will enter the power play for the first time tonight. They come into this matchup 3 for 10 in their last 2 games on the power play. And if you want to go even further than that, they're 3 for 20 in their last 5. Their last 5 games, 3 for 20. Obviously not a number that's staggering. However, they got the pieces on the ice to improve on that statistic and wherever it may go. Right now they work on the Regalado in any way they possibly can. Corey Zabo getting multiple chances in front, but to no avail as Regalado stones him. And again, Cyr, same spot as last night. This time Regalado was on top of it, using the glove hand to his advantage. We saw Cyr, what he is capable of doing when he has the puck on his stick. He scored twice last evening, the first being a power play goal in which he rifled it past Steven Regalado from the high slot. And that same location that you just saw moments ago is where he scored last night in the first period. And here is a steal and a potential push from the Seawolves that gets quickly halted by the Rams as Bizel and company try to work through center cleanly. Rhode Island was 2 for 4 last night on the power play. They try to do whatever they can here to continue that positive trend. Right now, the Seawolves have their number. They continue to kill off more time, creating havoc in the zone. Now it's Rhode Island trying to get a jump back into familiar territory as Darlington takes Hunt with Lockwood in tow. Now it's Charlie Nelson guiding it back into his area as Darlington try to reach with the glove hand to keep it in the zone. Instead, it goes for a clear where Hunt will guide it back to Bizel. And a half a minute to go, less than half a minute to go here on the power play for Rhode Island as time is beginning to run out on the Rams power play until Mulhern rings it off the bar. A near beautiful goal there for Mulhern, the captain. Another chance, Gold. Cyr charges up, big block by Charles Poirier. Rebound, Cyr blasts one, missing wide. Poirier providing the sacrifice in front, and you know he's going to feel that next morning after he put his body in the way to stop what could have been a crucial goal-scoring chance for the Rams. And here's another opportunity that is squandered as Hyde gets knocked down. And so the physical elements beginning to take shape once again as the Seawolves try to feed off the momentum here after successfully killing off the Rhode Island power play. Shots on goal, 11 apiece. As we've gone over 5 minutes here in the second. As Mara loses an edge, he's back to his feet. Stony Brook trying to power through and gain some type of advantage here against the Rams. That will not be the case as Rhode Island gets right back in. Bonfiglio offering pressure against the Seawolves once more. And Bonfiglio got it back to Thompson. Thompson wires one, but it got deflected in front as it was heading towards the goal. That man providing the stick to give his team a chance was Barlow, who is now on the bench. Mara able to shake by Thompson. Mara trying to guide it away from the Rams as Nakagawa feeds it in front. Great stop there. That was Hunt lunging out to deny Malik from what could have been an easy goal there for number 11. Instead, Ryan Hunt's got himself his 13th save of the night. Pardon me, James Hunt. Cormanek steps into the face-off dot. Malik remains put on the ice. Here's Darlington. re-engaging with the Seawolves, entering the zone once again. Another chance, touched on in front, loose in the crease, as the Seawolves able to survive the scramble and push back the other way. DeZaro flings it in front, backhander, score! The captain reaches new heights in his all-star playing college career as William Cormanick extends his goal-scoring streak to a record 5th game with that first goal for Stony Brook here tonight. And what a way to do it, as he rushed in at the right time before finishing strong on the backhander, able to knife it through Hunt for his 12th goal of the season. He's got 2 now this weekend, 1 on the power play, 1 here, as Stony Brook feeding off what ended up being a very successful penalty kill, as they prevented Rhode Island from capitalizing, and further answered with a statement of their own with the goal from Cormanick. Here is Valenci skating it back in. Valenci throws it in front, score! Back-to-back quick attacks from the Stony Brook Seawolves. And it's deja vu on Long Island. The 2 men that started off the game last night for Stony Brook have done it again here this evening. Cormanick, followed by Anthony Vernillo. A 1-2 punch in instantaneous fashion, as a timeout is quickly called off the heels of that goal by Joe Augustine of Rhode Island. A huge moment here for the Seawolves, and perhaps the shining play from that penalty kill coming from Charles Poirier. A mighty block to deny Cam Sear from scoring on the power play, providing the energy for his team to strike in the next 5-on-5 sequence, in which Cormanick sliced home the opening goal for the Seawolves. Or I should say, the game's first goal, coming in the second period, opening the floodgates potentially of what's to come for the rest of this hockey game. Stony Brook leading 2-0 after Hunt, who was brilliant for the first 20 minutes of play, surrendering back-to-back goals to the Seawolves. As this gets cleared away by Stony Brook, giving chase to Stepney against Bizel. Bizel trying to work away from the pressure of the Seawolves. Too many on his tail as he got ran into the boards there. Bizel. Here are the Rams pushing right back ahead. Here's Lockwood. Lockwood trying to bulldoze his way through, but to no avail as Haskins jumps on the possession. Stony Brook able to escape the zone and push further back into familiar territory. Lorenzo Mara Can't dangle past the defense there. And here is Bonfiglio accelerating in. Bumped off the possession by Hyde. As Stony Brook finding ways to create a goal barrier against the Rams. And now Hyde journeys back in the zone, getting it back to the point. Poirier. Anastasio couldn't fire one on as he is being belted around in the zone. Mara shoves his man off the possession before giving it back to Poirier. Poirier putting on the dance moves at the point. Well, he lost it there to the Rams, who come right back in. Garioso tries to lead it forward. It bounces towards the front where Barlow creates havoc against Stony Brook. The wheels are spinning now for both of these teams. And for Stony Brook, the engine is running mighty well as Poirier lofts it in deep. Rhode Island, though, trying to escape cleanly as Cormatic returns to the ice after collecting his 12th of the year. He's back on the attack, looking to deliver more business against these Rams. Malik guides it across, gave it away to the Rams, and here they come. But William Cormatic rushing back at the right place at the right time, and here's Malik. Malik couldn't pull the trigger in time as Cormatic dumps his man from behind. That results in a penalty against the Stony Brook captain, and he'll sit for 2 minutes, giving Rhode Island a much-needed power play to potentially get on the board here and maybe, just maybe, change things around. And they got the advantage coming up with this crucial power play here with 9:21 remaining in the seconds, as well as a face-off draw in Stony Brook zone. Corey Zabo on the draw here. He goes up against Mara. Mulhern, the captain. And Sear playing catch at the point. Zachary Gold shifting over. Mulhern feeds it across. Sear back to Gold. Gold, Sear looking to unload. Instead, it's Stony Brook reading the design perfectly and canceling out the situation. Rhode Island trying to regroup ever so quickly and get back in the zone. Here they come, the Rams. Mulhern across, Sear stopped. Regalado, the best one of this evening in his repertoire. He gets a big clear out of it from his team as Rhode Island struggles to put one on the board as they've reached the final minute of the power play, their second of the evening. And another clear for Stony Brook. Nakagawa rushes over, gets back to the bench for a healthy reinforcement. Bizel with a strong toss as it rolls around the wall. Mulhern takes the hit. Weiser connecting with Zabo as Wenrick not allowing him to make anything happen. Weiser back to the point by Zell. Weiser heavy battling in front as Weiser's champ missed wide. And Smith takes over once again as the possession surrendered back to the Seawolves by Rhode Island. Here's Mara dangling. Mara shielding away from traffic before giving it back to Anastasio. Anastasio from the top. Chance loose in front and a clear made for icing by the Rams. And although they didn't want it to be touched up in that way, it's better than what could have been as the puck was skittering around waiting for someone to slam it home on Stony Brook. And had that been the case, this would have been a 3-0 hockey game. Instead, we're getting another face-off draw to the right of Hunt. And Stony Brook continuing to barrel down on the doors of Rhode Island as Poirier's chance got blocked in front before Rhode Island clears it out. Couldn't get it past center, and it gives Stony Brook another chance to progress forward as Cormanic continues to get physical after taking the penalty just minutes before. DeZaro able to locate the possession. Paul DeZaro knifes it back almost onto the stick of Poirier. Luckily, before the Rams could jump on the possession, Anastasio covering up ever so quickly and doing his parts as the defensive role player that he was meant to be. As Stony Brook in quite the situation now. They lead comfortably 2-0. But make no mistake, these Rams, with a lot of talent in their arsenal, are going to be coming at the Seawolves like never before. And Anastasio is going to plop it right back in as Legret cycles around the ice, trying to get a hold of the possession. Look at the speed from Legret as he takes down Zabo, but it's going to cost him. He'll sit for 2 minutes. And you had to wonder if the intent was to throw a massive check to take Zabo out of contention and away from the possession, because that did not go as planned for Legret, and he knew it. He wanted it to turn out differently, and you saw the speed that he brought in that sequence. As Zabo benefiting from that, giving his team their third power play of the night. An eventful weekend for the Rams special teams unit. Mulhern through traffic, blocked off a skate in front. May have been Valente as Smith clears it out and pushes ahead. Tangles, but can't break through the wall. That was provided by the captain, Mulhern, and his team. Mulhern guiding it back in the zone, finding Sir. Sir slides it in front, kicked away by Raganato, and further cleared out by the Seawolves. Under 5 to go here in the seconds. The beast that is Stony Brook awoken this period. There is still time for anything, and by means anything, that could change that. However, the Seawolves, the beast that they are, continuing to keep the Rams at bay. Another chance and another missed opportunity for Rhode Island as they have to recollect here, regroup, and try to remain focused. And how do you do that when you got Kyle Nestepny all over you? As Rhode Island pushes right back in, or at least they're trying to. But the Seawolves not allowing them the luxury as they get another clear. And we got 25 more seconds of 5-on-4 hockey here. Nelson guides it forward. Lockwood there for support. Lockwood being hounded by Poirier, and another tangle up between the Seawolves and Rams as Lockwood fights off Poirier, and we get a stoppage, a hand pass signaled as we've reached the pinnacle moments of this second period. 3.5 to go as Stony Brook commands this hockey game with the 2-0 lead. On the Goals by Cormatic and Vernillo. Lead feed ahead. Couldn't send Hyde up forward as Vernillo and Anastasio try to get a hold of the possession here. Anastasio able to shake by and throw it out of harm's way as Hyde gives chase, throwing that check. Hunt. Now it's handled by Crane. Rams trying to avoid these turnovers, which has been a difficult occurrence for them so far this period. And we get offside signaled, putting a stop to play with 2.5 remaining in the seconds. Rhode Island came into this weekend riding off some positive momentum after ending what was a challenging period in the late days of fall, early days of winter, riding on a 3-game losing skid. Before that was put to an end when they beat Oswego, and that continued on last night with back-to-back victories. As Darlington, that chance denied by Regalado. Kowalski. Seawolves aiming ahead. Cormatic dangles past goal, drives hard to the goal. It bounced off Hunt as Rhode Island able to survive the sequence, and not before we get another penalty coming towards Stony Brook's path. And William Cormatic will take another trip to the sin bin. He thought the officials wouldn't catch him. But he'll sit and watch on as his team goes to the penalty kill for the 4th time this evening. As a retaliatory penalty gets the best of the captain and the Seawolves. And we'll see what Rhode Island can do this time around. They've been shut down so far up to this point, going 0 for 3 on power plays this evening. This is their 4th trip to the man advantage. Mulhern, Sear. Real estate widening up as Sear keeps it under control. Rhode Island continuing to work in the zone. Toss from the top, blocked in front. May have been inadvertently tipped in the wrong direction by Hall. And another chance shut down by the Seawolves as we reach the final moments of this period. 39 minutes of hockey gone by. Rhode Island held scoreless up to this point. Mulhern, the captain, shakes off Wenrick. Setting it back to Gold, who keeps it in the zone. Mulhern with that chance missing wide. Zabo. Mulhern. Here is Sear. Gold. A trouble handling the feed, but it stays alive for now. Gold faked the drive as Sear takes over once again. Gold plays it in front, blocked off multiple men there as Stony Brook gets another big clear. And that will do it, as the 4th power play for Rhode Island tonight will carry over to the 3rd period as we leave the seconds with Stony Brook leading 2-0. The third period will begin under 5-on-4 conditions as Stony Brook will try to kill off the remaining 30 seconds of the Cormanic penalty. You're watching Stony Brook Seawolves hockey right here on LI Sports Network. Stay tuned. Third period coming up very soon, folks.
At Stony Brook Medicine, our gastroenterologists perform a groundbreaking procedure that restores the ability to eat, so Kevin can enjoy dining out again. Our kidney transplant team has one of the fastest transplant rates in the nation, so Pat can spend time doing what she loves. Our skilled surgeons perform robotic-assisted surgery for colon cancer, so Chris can get back to reeling them in sooner. Leading the way to make your life stronger, we are Stony Brook Medicine. All we do is all for you.
And we welcome you back, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you guys and girls out there had a wonderful, well-rewarded break from the activities, as things are now going to get interesting as we've reached the climax of this hockey game. These next 20 minutes of play will be the deciding factor as to who picks up and goes home with a big win that can carry momentum to the final stretch of this 2025-26 season for Rhode Island. It's been a night full of challenges as they haven't been able to tally one just yet against these Seawolves here tonight. For Stony Brook, they are playing to their finest capability here so far, leading 2-0 on back-to-back goals by William Cormanic and Anthony Bernillo. That really changed things for the better in this one for the Seawolves. And they get more rewards with their fourth penalty kill of the night against these Rams, who bested the Seawolves in that department last night, capitalizing twice in 4 trips to the man advantage. And they've matched that number here this evening with 4 power play attempts, except this time around, neither capitalizing on any of those sequences. Poirier. Now by Zell, handling business behind the cage as he sets things back in motion for the Rams. They push back in the zone. Lockwood surrenders the possession as Stony Brook right back, coming in with the heat, and that one is stopped. Twice as nice by James Hunt. The initial save sliding from right to left, followed by a second chance for the Seawolves that was squandered by the glove hand of Hunt as Stony Brook gets a line change with Cormanic returning to the ice after serving his second penalty of the evening. Drive off the draw, DeZaro missing there. Paul DeZaro. Now Kowalski. Valenti. Things opening up a bit for the Seawolves as Rhode Island was out of position. Here's Valenti with some space in the corner. Threw it out in front, but no one able to put it home. And now the Rams attempting to break free and come up with their own opportunity as they've been shut down for the better part of this hockey game. 40 minutes gone by without a goal on their end. And another chance denied in front. Stony Brook prevailing. Kowalski will start it from the end there as Nakagawa breaks free but can't get by a third Ram, and it allows Gorioso to push back the other way. The Rhode Island Express coming back in full force against the Seawolves. However, Stony Brook playing to their best ability at keeping the Rams at bay. Nakagawa plays it across. Haskins couldn't get it further past center. And it plays off the boards right to the stick of Barlow, who came in with the screamer, but it missed. And Rhode Island gets another chance that's shut down by Regalado. They are coming in with the chances now, folks. But Stony Brook winning these battles inch by inch, save by save, as Hyde will play it in the corner getting a line change out of it. Heavy check thrown by Poirier, and he continues to bash around the Rams. Rhode Island still struggling to find ways at beating Regalado to the punch, as these Seawolves have had Reganado's back for the better part of this hockey game. And that's going to stop play at any time. A little over 4 minutes gone by here in the third period. Some repairs will be made for Riley Gilligan as he lost his buckets. Now we have another face-off draw looming here to the right of Hunt. Cormanic denied there by Hunt. Cormanic lost sight of the possession. Malik didn't as he targets his man. Malik trying to get a hold of the opportunity. Cormanic, Malik tossed it out in front but couldn't find the man to slam it home. DeZaro able to keep it in the zone, and now Crane taking over for the Rams. He lofts it way out of the zone. Missed the ceiling by inches, so play continues. Rhode Island working their way back in the zone. Sear from distance, fought off by Regalado. And Sear throws a heavy check, keeping the pressure on Stony Brook for now. And a glove hand save by Regalado to stop play. Shots 24-19, Stony Brook. And one could say the advantage is to Regalado as he has shut down Rhode Island from all angles of the ice. The Rams still trying to find a way to beat Regalado when it means most. Right now the Seawolves with the heavy advantage over Rhode Island as they continue to work against the Rams. Gold, what an aggressive sauce that rides around the wall where Anastasio will try to take over. Instead, it's Rhode Island keeping the pressure on Stony Brook. Lockwood taking it back down low. He's dragged to the ice, but no call was made as Stony Brook will benefit from that. Taking over the other way, Labos couldn't dance by the defenseman Valenti. As Vernillo gets another chance, it screams wide, but Stony Brook able to keep it in the zone. Anastasio bounced it along the wall, but it went past Vernillo, taking Stony Brook out of the zone. But in they come, right back in. New reinforcements taking shape here. The Seawolves trying to add to the board, while Rhode Island attempts to shut them down as Hunt gets another save out of it, and Anastasio will skate back towards the Seawolves bench as his time on ice concludes, and Mara enters the playing surface once again. He wins it back to Wenrick. Nakagawa firing, and it's stopped by Hunt. James Hunt, despite the 2 goals given up in dramatic fashion to the Seawolves, has performed well even after that negative occurrence. And speaking of negative occurrences, that is one that Rhode Island did not want to see. It's Thompson who will sit in the penalty box for the second time tonight. However, this will be ruled as an official penalty for Rhode Island. As Stony Brook enters the power play for the second time tonight. The Stony Brook Orthopedic Associates power play has seen a lot of activity this weekend. Another chance, deflected in front, score! It made its way through as Cormanic pucks home his second of the night. His second power play goal of the weekend as Poirier launched it on net and it found the stick of 76, who was at the right place. It was in the right place at the right time, propelling the Seawolves to a 3-0 lead. And in the words of Trevor Magnani, who would usually be calling the games with me, it is the most dangerous lead that needs to be taken with caution at all cases. You never want to be in a 3-0 lead. Not with 12 minutes left. It's with especially with a team like Rhode Island, who's got plenty of power on their side, and they got a big advantage coming their way despite trailing by 3 goals here. With their 5th power play of the evening, as Poirier will sit for 2 minutes. Bizel gets it at the top. Here's Darlington. Bizel again. Weisert cruising over. Weiser. Bizel in the high slot. No one able to pull the trigger just yet. Weisert almost lost it. Fired it off of Smith. Stony Brook gets the steal, and here they come. Shorthanded chance for the Seawolves. Put to a halting stop by Bizel as he keeps Stony Brook at bay, but the Seawolves doing their parts at crunching off the numbers here against Rhode Island. Almost reminiscent of the Seawolves from a few months back in their head-to-head against Syracuse. A turnover, mad scramble in the goal mouth. And we get another penalty signaled. And this is going to put the Seawolves down by 2. And boy, oh boy, how things have just turned interesting. As this chance ricochets off a stick and goes out of play, as Poirier will stay put in the box for the remaining 24 seconds, but not without some company courtesy of Kyle Nestepny, who is charged with the roughing infraction. And now Rhode Island getting their best opportunity of the evening. And what I was about to say before the latest penalty was called was Rhode Island is approaching Stony Brook power play levels territory in terms of the abundance of opportunities, but without capitalizing. Stony Brook did not fare well in their matchup against Syracuse a couple of months back, in which they had 8 power plays in one game. And here they are coming in. An amazing effort in goal by Steven Regonato, saving the day, shift by shift, shot by shots, as they cycle the lines once again. Rhode Island
Choice roughing, time the penalty, 11:06 remaining in the third period.
Beginning to start things up from their end. Their 6th power play officially underway. And now they've reached the final minute of that 6th power play. After the first 24 were played under 5-on-3 conditions. Mulhern! Oh my gracious! Somehow the Rams did not score there, as Shane Mulhern brought some wizardry to the goal mouth, and it almost gave Rhode Island a chance to get on the board had it been potted home. But instead, Stony Brook surviving these test of wills against the Rams. Darlington with a strong sauce ahead, missing the stick of his intended target and going for icing. And you can hear the noise coming from the Seawolves bench. An unbelievable sequence as the Rams fail to capitalize with a wide open net, and Regalado sprawling for dear life as he kept the puck out of the house. Bizel works it forward. We're back to 5-on-5. And Regalado has to hurry that one in the glove before Darlington can poke it loose. Bizel and Peter Labos. An interesting situation unfolding between those two. Former PAL Junior Islander products getting entangled as they had to be separated by the officials. Stony Brook continuing to ride on this mighty wave of momentum against the Rams. Crane tries to get it through traffic to no avail. And here's Labos working his way somehow through everyone, gaining the zone as Vernillo tries to make more magic happen here. Back at the point, Poirier evades. It's thrown back in front, no one able to put it home as Rhode Island gets a launch out of the zone! A mighty open ice hit by Charles Poirier as he leveled his man. And that will sure get everyone riled up. If there was ever a worse occurrence for Rhode Island, it's seeing one of their own getting leveled like that in a situation where the game is currently not in reach. And you can feel the intensity picking up shift by shift as we close in on the final 5 minutes of this hockey game. Big block made by Nakagawa as the Rams continue to put pressure on the Seawolves. Here is Valenti, throws it in front as Mulhern came crossing over, and Nakagawa with another hit. Long range dump off the boards, giving high chase. The playing out of his net was Hunt. Stony Brook on a line change, and it gives Rhode Island some life to push right in. Nelson throws it in front as Hall continues to re-engage with the Seawolves. Lockwood working back at the top. Gold puts it in front. It squeaked loose, but Gold couldn't get a clear-eye chance. Valente throws it again in front. It got blocked away and further cleared out by the Seawolves. Tesaro trying to come up with the steal, but to no avail. Nelson crunched there by Poirier, who's got his eyes set on literally everyone here who has the puck. Tesaro finds Cormanic with 2 goals under his belt. He lost it, and here's Bizel. Bizel trying to create some type of energy to get his team going. And he is beginning to find out that time is starting to run out. Here's Darlington stepping right back in. He's got a detour and trying to get it past the Seawolves, but Stony Brook providing more of that shutdown play, which has rewarded them in many different ways here this evening. Another chance, another denial, and Teddy Valente all over his man Darlington. Meanwhile, DiNapoli cruising back in with Kowalski. Kowalski held off. DiNapoli plays it back at the top. Legret, Valente shakes by one, throws it in front. They got blocked off there. He gets his own rebound. Now it's Legret pulling the trigger. It got blocked. Rebound. And the whistle blown. And Nate Legret saw Gaudioso take liberties against, I believe that was Nestepany, as he propelled his stick off the ice. And surprisingly, no penalties unfolding for now. But you have to wonder if the thermostat is about to burst in this hockey game, as Rhode Island's frustrated all evening, not able to capitalize on numerous power play opportunities in which they were successful last evening, with 2 last night. Peter Labos stepping in once again. And it's cleared away by the Rams. Wenrick racing in with speed. Labos trying to hunt it away from Rhode Island, but it's Rhode Island getting the burst out of the zone and into familiar territory with Sear and Mulhern. But play stopped as the possession goes out of play. Four and a half remaining. Tossed around in front. And Lockwood able to twist it on. Nelson couldn't get a clean chance there. Lockwood gonna lean back, take it, and keep it in the zone. Bizel held up against the boards, right in front of the Seawolves bench. Lead feet ahead. Hall avoided disaster as Anastasio is going to plop it right back in the zone. And bam! He draws the penalty against Rhode Island. And that was not an advisable play made on Anastasio there that time by the very talented and highly skilled Colin Bizel, who will sit for 2 minutes. Interference the call, as Stony Brook will get rewarded with another power play, their 4th of the evening versus their 3rd. either way, it's paid off major dividends for them. And the Stony Brook Orthopedic Associates power play is underway. Who would have thought that this team, and in this situation, would be their bright spot here tonight against a team that bested them in that department last night. And there's a chance, rebound, double denials. Beautifully done that time by Hunt. Seawolves staying put in the zone for now. Anastasio wheels it back towards the net, kicked out by Hunt. And Hyde will circle back along the wall before getting it to Haskins with a dart in front. It skipped around the crease. Stony Brook keeping it in the zone as Rhode Island couldn't clear out. Under a minute left of power play time for the Seawolves. Wenrick, sliding save, Hunt. And Mulhern will skate it out of harm's way and dump it down the boards. Another line change underway for the Seawolves power play unit. Here's Poirier. Head full of steam coming from Mara. He plays it around the wall where DeZaro will try to handle business cleanly, but instead it's Rhode Island awakening with another chance. But Stony Brook on their heels, putting them to a stop. What they've done for the most part this game. And here come the Seawolves again. Cormanic bulldozing his way through, barreling into multiple Rams as Stony Brook couldn't capitalize on the latest power play opportunity. Lockwood dangling. Lockwood backhander and smothered in the glove of Reganado. A minute and a half to go in regulation. Valenti there to cover. Huevos offering support as the Seawolves are able to break out of the zone. And now Valenti taking over once again with a screamer across where Huevos got to touch on it before it went out of play. We'd like to remind everyone that our next broadcast will be in the coming weeks, January 31st, as the Seawolves return to the island after a brief road trip when they take on their bitter rival, the University of Pittsburgh. And coverage will be handled by LI Sports Network, your new home, I should say, for Stony Brook Seawolves hockey all season long. As Stony Brook is just 45 seconds away from a huge victory here on home ice after suffering at the hands of the Feats last night, 4-2. Quite the contrast for Stony Brook. And perhaps what this team needs to blast their way to a big playoff position as we continue to journey towards the end of this season. DiNapoli skates it out. One last save by Hunt. Time expires. Steven Reganato, shutout victory. 3-0 Seawolves over the Rams. And the celebration is on for the Holbrook, New York native. An abundance of key performances for this squad this weekend. William Cormanic, a 3-goal week. Steven Reganato, perfect in net, stopping all 27 shots from the Rams. Positive pleasantries and handshakes aplenty as the two teams will leave the week with a lot of thoughts to ponder on for Stony Brook. This one is definitely one they wanted to see, and for Reganato, he is going to celebrate along with his team. A big victory for head coach Chris Garofalo as Stony Brook gears towards their next matchup as the 2025-26 season continues. But that does it from us here for Stony Brook Seawolves hockey. This is Mike Calandra saying so long, good night. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on January 31st.
At Stony Brook Medicine, our gastroenterologists perform a groundbreaking procedure that restores the ability to eat, so Kevin can enjoy dining out again. Our kidney transplant team has one of the fastest transplant rates in the nation, so Pat can spend time doing what she loves. Our skilled surgeons perform robotic-assisted surgery for colon cancer, so Chris can get back to reeling them in sooner. Leading the way to make your life stronger. We are Stony Brook Medicine. All we do is all for you.